What's up, everybody? This is my Model X. It's like a $100,000 vehicle that I bought as a write-off. This is my Jaguar F-Type. And I'm just chilling actually here with my parents for a second while my wife and I save up for a home. Which sounds a little strange, but you know, I've been paying myself $6,500 a month for a while now, and I'm not changing that. You know, these are actually technically business vehicles. But anyway, I want to talk about how to build your dream life, how to actually build a business and a life and a lifestyle around that business that you're excited to wake up to, so you don't feel the need to vacation all the time or step away from this thing or find escapes or breaks. And I think it all comes down to relationships, man. I think it comes down to who you do business with, who you serve. So if you're a coach or you're a consultant or an agency owner or a business owner or small business owner or whatever it is that you do, I want you to understand that everything is relationships. High quality customer relationships, high quality team relationships. It just makes everything worth doing. And so really this video is going to be about how to have high quality relationships, because your relationships determine the quality of your life. Good team relationships, good customer relationships, those two things fuel innovation, they fuel creativity, and they create something that lasts and really sustains and stands the test of time. So I'll talk about that, and I'll also talk about deciding what business to start. You know, if you don't have a business right now, if you aren't actually running something actively, that's something you have to think about as well. So let's talk about this. I'll first talk about relationships. And in the conversation of relationships, there's the conversation of standards. Whatever standard you hold yourself to, you can expect your team and your clients to hold themselves to just a little slightly less standard. Whatever your standard is, they will meet it about 80%, maybe 90%. So to have the right relationships, you need to become the sort of a person that deserves those relationships. I look at my wife, I look at my team, I look at my clients, look at the people that I serve, the people that I attract into my programs and products and services. You know, these people, these are high quality people. You know, these are millionaires. These are people who have built big things or are on to building big things or are truly destined for good, big, desirable things. These are influential people. And it starts because I decided at some point that I'm going to act that out in my life, that I'm going to be the sort of a person who, you know, influences others positively. I'm going to be the sort of a person who gives from my heart and build something meaningful. So it started with me, and it starts with you. If you want higher quality people in your life, you have to first become that person. So have high standards. The next is be very quick to let go of dead weight. And I know this is hard for a lot of people to think about. This is romantic relationships, friend relationships, team relationships, client relationships. Listen, just because a client's paying you doesn't mean you need to keep them around, right? That's scarce thinking. Let go of the clients, send them on their way, give them refunds, get them out of your bubble, protect that bubble, and keep only the highest quality people in your sphere. So have a high standard and be quick to let people go. I've learned this the hard way over and over again. When I let my standards drop, within a week or two, within a month or two, things slow down. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, the world is out to get me. I get bitter and I get frustrated, but then I remember, it's because my standards have dropped. It's because I let people in that I shouldn't have let in, right? So that's relationships, starting with standards. Second is cut people out that aren't doing the job, aren't fitting the bill, okay? The third thing with relationships is you want to pursue the right people. Invest into the right initial network, right? So for me, myself, I spent a good amount of money to be in mastermind groups where I got a lot of really good initial friends. Now I've got friends of mine that I'm really grateful for that, you know, I can just call up or ask questions to. I've got friends that one guy does 200 grand a month, and that's profit. And he just runs a YouTube channel, kind of like this, puts up content, talks about whatever he wants to talk about. Great sales team, great programs and everything. Another one of mine does $750,000. He's been doing $750,000 a month, around there, 600 to 800 or so for now 3 years on, sustainable, growing. And it's just like, I think people really respond well to, when you join these groups, they respond really well to just a student's mindset, just a humble learner's kind of attitude. And people who are doing well, I found, are always very attracted to that mentality and that way of thinking, because they're like, oh, this guy's like doesn't think he's super smart, or he's not using my relationship to beef himself up. He just wants to learn, and I really admire that. And I admire that. People come into me, or they buy my programs, or they just are in my circle. They're a friend, and they don't pretend they're more than they are. You can really appreciate somebody when they know their place, they know who they are and what stage of their journey they're at. And so that's the next thing. So that's relationships, right? The final one is just leadership. You don't want to have any relationships that, are stagnant. There's no such thing as a stagnant relationship. Always be leading your relationships to a good place, leading them forward, whether it's your romantic relationships, your team relationships, or client relationships. You need to be the leader. All roads lead back to you in your life. The world doesn't revolve around you. The world isn't about you, but your life is about you. Your life, all roads lead back to you and your behavior and your standards and how you behave. So raise those bars. Now I want to talk about the business model that you pick. I think you need to pick a business model that is relationship focused, people focused. This is why I love helping people start coaching businesses, because all day you're helping people do better things in their life or their business, right? Whether you're a marketing coach or a sales coach, helping them make more money or start a business themselves, helping them lose weight, helping them get their dream relationship, helping them get a job they like, helping them get into the college that you're able to get into, helping them do whatever, right? We've got people doing all kinds of stuff. I've got one guy who now helps people go full-time as a drummer. That's their niche. He was a full-time drummer. He was a drummer for a Christian artist named Chris Tomlin there for a minute, and now he helps other people go full-time as a drummer. That's his thing. And he just started with us, and he's doing great. He's got a bunch of sales calls lined up. He's locking down some students, serving his customers. And I think, to me, you should pick a business model where you're getting paid in accordance to the value that is being added to other people. And I think it's hard to pick a business that doesn't do that. I think ultimately you get paid in accordance to the value you bring naturally, because that's just how money works. But to really see it and to watch it happen, there's just something really special about that. So this is why I believe in service-based businesses for people that don't have $1 million liquid and can do something more leveraged. Service-based businesses like consulting, coaching, or even an agency, where you're partnering with your clients and helping them. This is, I think, the recipe for a good life. So if you have what I just shared at the beginning of the video, the high standards for your behavior, right, becoming that sort of a person that is worthy of the things, the relationships that you want, and then you have a service-based business, it's just hard to go wrong, right? You can see how the stars start to align here for this person. If you became that person and you had this business where you were serving people and selling them your advice and your knowledge or your time and helping them with whatever specific sub-arena, whether it's health, wealth, or relationships, you can start to see how things just start to get really beautiful. Today, I think it's a $12,000 day, and I've worked like 3 hours, and I'm just enjoying my time. My wife is inside, and we're about to go on date night. We're gonna go see the new Barbie movie, and I'm about to surprise her with a trip to the Amalfi Coast. She doesn't know. We're gonna go to the Amalfi Coast for our baby moon. We've got our baby coming in November, which I'm just so blessed by, and I'm just so grateful that I've got a wife that is excited to be a mom, that I've got a kid coming. And I think the last piece of advice is gratitude. I think grateful people get results worth being grateful for in their life, right? I think it's the people that are kind of embittered towards life and feel wronged by life and feel like life has handed them a poor stack of cards. Those are the people, man, that you don't want to associate with. You don't want to become that person. Don't be that guy that's... Sorry, I'm just tying my shoe. You don't want to be that guy that's constantly just like finding a new reason to be upset and worried and mad at the world and embittered by it. And I find great, I'm sure you've noticed, it's the happy people who succeed. It's not because you're succeeding you're happy. It's the happy people who succeed. It's the grateful people who always find opportunity, because you're grateful to be here in the first place, right? And so I just think, recently I've kind of turned a corner with my work, and I'm just realizing just how grateful I am to get to do what I do and serve in the industry that I serve in and be a part of it in such a unique way, and how many people know my name how well known I am in the space, and I don't even care if somebody buys something from me. It's like everybody's just got this positive association with me, and I think that's really cool. With maybe a handful of people that, you know, don't like me, which is fine too. But I just think that that's really neat, and I'm really grateful for that, and I think you can have the same thing. So follow my advice, and you will build a good life. You will build a life that is worth living, making money doing something that you enjoy doing. Because there's nothing more fulfilling than fulfilling relationships, you guys. So become the sort of a person who's worthy of those relationships. Pick a relationship-based business model. Have gratitude. And maybe as a final note, don't let go of control. Which kind of sounds a little counterintuitive to all this. I think a lot of people see control as almost a kind of like a negative thing, like controlling. What I mean is know the numbers of your system. Know the numbers of your system. So if it takes you 50 messages to book a meeting and it takes you 3 meetings to make a close, 150 messages a day it is, man. If it takes you 1,000 YouTube views to book a meeting and it takes you 5 meetings to close, 5,000 meetings or 5,000 views a day, right? So know your numbers and work backwards from the numbers. The numbers tell you the full story. There are freedom in numbers. In numbers, you will always find freedom. Know your profit and loss. Know your numbers. Keep your eyes on the data and on the financials, and it will tell you what to do next if you just listen to it. But most people don't even know their numbers. They don't even know. Or they haven't acted for long enough and done enough stuff to even begin to measure with, right? So I hope that all makes sense. I hope that this has been a valuable sort of short thing, right? Just wanted to whip out the phone and make something for you guys. Super grateful for you all. Thanks for watching the channel. I know I've got like a small little group of viewers, and I love just making stuff for you guys. See you in the next one.